here is not in that capacity. The reason he's here is that he's written a new book called Immaculate Deception, and it's a science fiction book. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that, and we're going to be talking a little bit, he's going to be doing a reading. So, Scott, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
welcome
for having
to the York Emporium. No, it's great to have you here. So, tell us about the book.
Immaculate Deception is a near-future thriller. This crowd, I'm perfectly comfortable calling it sci-fi. For broader marketing, we're going for a near-future thriller. The story is set about 20 or 25 years in the future. It's the story of a disgraced reporter who ends up inadvertently dying very early in the story, and he's recruited on the way to the afterlife by an elderly Rastafarian surfer who claims to be the supreme being. And he wants my main character, John Templeton, to perform a job for him, finding out about the identity of a person who works in a very popular new megachurch called the Church of the New Revelation, which incorporates sex and drugs into mainstream Christianity.
Is this at all autobiographical?
Only in segments, only in segments.
I got to ask this question because I ask it to all the writers who come here, and I'm always interested in this. That is in the process of writing. Now, do you have a set schedule where you say, because a lot of writers do, they treat it like a regular job. Right. They get up and have their coffee and they sit down, and at 8:30 in the morning, they sit there and they say, today I'm going to produce 20 good pages of copy, or do you just let it go?
It has evolved at different stages. This book was actually 20 years in the making. I started it in 1989 when I was a sophomore or junior in college. And at that point, it was just sort of picking up wherever it was possible and writing whenever I had time, aside from studies and my other duties. As I progressed, I would find time when I was commuting from my job, to and from my job in Philadelphia, riding the train, which was excellent time, 45 minutes every day to and from. Then once I went to freelance work for my professional career, I would pick up time early in the morning. So it was a matter of, as you said, getting up every day, pre-programming the coffee pot for 5:30, having it ready, sitting down, not having any disturbances, and just hacking away, and hopefully coming out with something good at the other end.
Did you have an outline before you started, or did you just start?
I did not. It started as a short story. It was an idea for a short story when I was in college, and it was just sort of noodling around with some ideas, and eventually 2 or 3 short stories sort of merged together to form the 2 main storylines that make up Immaculate Deception.
Are you working on some other now?
I'm working on letting people know about this book right now, and I also have plans for additional books that will incorporate one of the characters from this novel and will actually bring her back to present day, and sort of tied in. I like the idea that a lot of science fiction authors have used, sort of keeping everything within the same universe, and creating that timeline and following along with it throughout your works. So I would like to do a series of prequels incorporating one of the characters from this book.
So when was the book actually published?
It was published in April of this year.
April of this year, so. All right, so 20 years in the making.
Yep.
And then, did you have an editor?
I did. I had several editors. One of them is here. He is Tom Joyce. He and I were both copy editors at the York Daily Record. We arrived at about the same time. And Tom actually was one of the primary contributors. Everything that everybody writes, I recommend that you have a number of different edits. One of them needs to be for story and character. And in a number of post-deadline conversations over a number of beers, Tom and I were hacking away at the story and character for this. He would read a couple of chapters and he'd give me a critique and say, well, this is working and this is not. And it was almost, I consider it better than having had a professional editor who might have worked for a large publishing house, because they're not going to take the time. Tom and I had the benefit of being friends already and being co-workers, and then the benefit of being in the newspaper business is that you're used to criticizing each other without having to take it personally.
Well, I guess that was my question. I mean, you and Tom were buddies and you were doing this over beer. I mean, did there ever came a time when the beers started flying at each other?
No, actually, because there were a number of instances where I was stuck. I knew something was not working, and I needed somebody else to say, it's not working. maybe you should try this. And it's hard for a lot of authors to look at themselves and do that. And when somebody does tell them that,
their work,
right?
Because it's almost like a concept.
Exactly. And once you find that person who you can have that respectful relationship with, and who can go back and forth, there will be it became a much better novel at that point. I think the ideas in it were good. I think the characters were great along the way, but as far as the plot arcs and continuing themes throughout the book, those are the places where an editor or an outside reader can really help. And the best thing you can do as a writer is listen to those people. And even if you don't do everything that they tell you to do, you need to at least consider it.
Are you happy?
I'm ecstatic. We are, Codorus Press is basically a collective made up of myself and Tom and our friend Wayne Lockwood, who's the founder, who are all working together in New York at the same time. And Wayne had this idea to say, we have the skill set of a publishing house. Why not put those skills to use making our own books? And I happen to have the first one in the pipeline, so Wayne said, let's do yours. And it's been a great process.
Tom, have you got one in the pipeline as well?
Oh yeah, actually.
Oh, Tom is saying yes. Is yours science fiction?
No, it's more of a supernatural thriller.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have you back for a horrible segment.
Okay, talk me into it.
Okay, yeah. That was tough. That was tough. All right. Well, look. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get out of the way. Scott, you're going to do some a reading here for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Sure. And then he's going to take some questions from our assembled masses. So I'm getting out of the way. Here we go. Immaculate Deception with Scott Pruden.
Thank you.